Good afternoon, everybody. Well, I'm standing outside the door. Have the camera on the head this afternoon. I'm not doing any haying today. I am going to tackle something that's needed to be tackled for a while. Problem is today is the pond gets a lot of this gunky brown stuff, black stuff. So the only way to get it off is with a power washer and get it clean. And so basically I power wash that off first, get all the gunk to flow out into this, and then I use what they call a trash pump, and I throw that end in there and pump it out across the yard and clean it up, fill it up with water, and we're good to go. So I thought I'd take you with me as I try to clean this up. Had to come out and had to go into the garage and get pressure washer, and I'm going to put, as I stretch out the hose, so for this I think I'm going to use the green one. It's a little bit harsher, providing I can get it in the having little problems today. There we go. By the way, if you're in the market for a pressure sprayer, I would highly recommend. This is a Simpson's sprayer, 3400 PSI. Has a Honda motor on it, good motor. Let's see. out of gas, which is actually not a bad thing because I was almost done. You'll hear it kick on. And there we go. And that's how you empty a pond the easy way. Now basically you say, well, what happens to the dirty water that's in it? Well, there is, in that, when I made this, I put a milk carton. The old plastic milk cartons you'd see in the stores, that's down underneath the rock there. And inside that is lava rock. And lava rock is not like this. I think I have some right here. This is lava rock. It's very porous. It's usually kind of purpley red, and you put that in it, and that's kind of the what they call the material or whatever that kind of the gunk kind of sits on it, stays on it. I really don't know how to really describe that, but you may be wondering where I got all the rock. Well, rock is free if you know where to get it. I used to, when the boys lived at home, we used to take off on the weekends and go rock hunting. There's some lakes around here, not huge lakes, but there's some lakes you can boat on them and stuff, and so there are some natural areas that they're just kind of rock. And some of the farmers around here don't like the rock in their fields, and they'll let you, of course. I'm gonna drain this hose. So the farmers will let you walk their fields in the fall when there's not a crop in them, and you can pick the rocks out of them, and you can find all sorts of rocks. Sometimes you find just the top of a rock, and pretty soon you dig it out and it's a big 2-foot rock or something like that. But most of these rocks, if not, I'd say all of them, were done by that way. Drain the hoses, and that's all there is to it. Since I got the fuel out, I'll go up and fill my, so now I got to fill it back up. It takes Probably put a second hose on it. It takes a few minutes to fill. What you don't want to do is forget that you got it on there. I've done that quite a few times. So we'll get 2 hoses going on it. Doesn't take long. So back to the building of the pond. No, it doesn't take that much to build one. I used an old piece of carpet to run underneath the liner to protect it, because you don't want holes in your pond liner. That's what keeps your water from going away or seeping underneath. Or so you run carpet. You can run it in different pieces, as I have. I started one and dished it out in there and ran one across here. And then when you run your liner, your rubber liner, usually get that from a pond store or a garden store. And when you run your liner, like originally I put the liner down in here, and no, you put the liner in, you're going to have creases. You make sure that when you put it in an area like this, that you iron out the creases. You fold the creases over, you know, like you would a shirt. So if this is your liner and you're doubling up, you just fold it over and make a seam on it, and you kind of do that all the way around and tucking it in so you don't get any wear points. So then that liner comes up to this first fall, and then you put, so that would go in first. Then your second liner that's underneath the walkway here, that overlaps that liner, and usually I do it quite a few feet. In fact, I think I even put the other liner over so there is no chance of the water seeping back up or coming underneath there. So when you're underneath the stairs here, of course you're digging out the dirt, and you basically make a canal high on the sides, low in the middle, and you run that liner across there, and then it comes up to this first one before it goes under, and then you run another liner down over top of it. All that liner goes up to the side, and it goes up to the hump here. So basically all you do is you're making a mound of dirt, and your liner goes, and your pond's here, your liner goes over it, and then you run it with rock. But you have to put carpet, or they do have a special material for lining that goes underneath the liners. It keeps it from, you know, keeps it soft so things don't pop through it. So that's basically it. It took me, I had the idea already in mind when we put this in, because I needed stairs, and so it didn't take too long. One of the things to do, like after I get done spraying like it did, if I have a nice waterfall look, which I do, I'm not crazy about this one, you can change the waterfall by moving your rock. See how it changes the, you can put that different places to obstruct it, and it gives you that sound that you want to hear. And I noticed over here, this is flowing. Oh, if I don't fall in. So that little rock right there helps divide the 2 segments. I could just have it going. That's not a big deal. I just always kind of like the 2 different, it makes a little more noise when you have the multiple tiers there. Now, of course, the key is that you don't want people to see your tube, and I should have that covered up, but I didn't do it, and quite frankly, it really doesn't bother me at this point in time. I just wanted to get it clean. Your pump does run off of a 110, so the wire comes up under the rock, across the stairs, behind these plants, and plugs into the house right there. So I can shut it off, unplug it, shut off when I want. I don't run it in the winter time. I turn it off and I pull the pump out of it, because I'm kind of afraid in our Nebraska weather, it gets pretty cold, They say I have had this running when it's gotten down into the 15s, 20s, and it will continue to run. You'll get ice on the edges and stuff, but they say as long as you have water running, it won't freeze. Well, I beg to differ. I think if it got down really cold, I think you would have some issues. It'd probably end up breaking your pump. The pump is down in the ground. According to where my grass is and where the pump is, it's down there at least 4 feet. The only thing that I would do different, I like this the way it is, nice and small. It gives you the waterfall. You know, when you're sitting up on the deck, it gives you the waterfall. What do they call it? Ambiance, or the noise, whatever. You hear that. One of the things I would do differently next time is I would end up putting my return on the edge. Because when you do this, you have to drain it all the way down. You have to bucket out the water. You have to remove the rock, and then you have to climb down in there and pull out the pump. It's not crazy bad to do. When I start this up in the spring, it usually takes me about an hour to get everything going. And it stays going from, I'll usually get it going somewhere in March, and it stays till about October, November. Kind of depends on how fast it gets cold, but anyway, so that's how I maintain it.